Your first question. A machine used to raise the pressure of a air is called. Your first option is gas turbine, IC engine, compressor, air motor. Your right answer is compressor. Your second question. The operations of lift, ram and pump make use of pressure air. Your first option yes and your second option is no. Your right answer is yes. Your third question, the ratio of discharge pressure to the inlet pressure of a air is called. Your first option is compressor ratio, expansion ratio, compressor efficiency, volumetric efficiency. Your right answer is compressor ratio. Your four questions. Free air is the air at the outlet of a compressor is called. Your first option is true and second option is false. Your right answer is true. Your fifth question. The absolute pressure of air at the outlet of a compressor is called. Your first option is back pressure, critical pressure, discharge pressure, none of these. Your right answer is discharge pressure. Your question is the inlet pressure is always dash the discharge pressure. Your first option is equal to, less than, more than. Your right answer is less than. Your question is the compression ratio for the compressor is always dash unity. Your first option is equal to, less than, more than. Your right answer is more than. Your question is the volume of air delivered by the compressor is called. Your first option is free air delivery, compressor capacity, swept volume, none of these. Your right answer is compressor capacity. Your question is the volume of air sucked by the compressor during its suction stroke is called. Your first option is free air delivery, compressor capacity, swept volume, none of these. Your right answer is swept volume. Your question is the capacity of compressor is expressed in. Your first option is kg per meter square, kg per meter cube per minute, meter cube per kg. Your right answer is meter cube per minute. Your question is the ratio of work done per cycle to the stroke volume of the compressor is known as. Your option is compressor capacity, compressor ratio, compressor efficiency, mean effective pressure. Your right answer is mean effective pressure. Your question is compressor capacity will be dash if the temperature is intake air is lowest. Your first option is lowest and your second option is highest. Your right answer is highest. Your question is the pressure of air at the beginning of the compression stroke is dash the atmospheric pressure. Your first option is equal to, less than, more than. Your right answer is less than. Your question is the temperature of the air at the beginning of the compression stroke is dash the atmospheric temperature is. Your first option equal to, less than, more than. Your right answer is more than. Your question is in a single acting reciprocating air compressor without any clearance the compression of the air may be. Your first option is isothermal, polytropic, isentropic, any one of these. Your answer is any one of these. Your question is the air power of the compressor is also known as. Your first option is indicate power, brake power, frictional power, none of these. Your right answer is indicate power. Your question is work done by an air compressor dash upon the way in which the air is compressed. Your first option is depends and second option is doesn't depends. Your right answer is depend. Your question is a receiver in a compressor installation is used to damp pressure waves in compressor discharge. Your first option is yes and your second option is no. Your right answer is yes. Your question is the performance of air compressor at high altitudes will be dash as compared to that at the sea level. Your first option is same, second option is lower, and third option is higher. Your right answer is lower. Your question is a compressor at high altitudes will be required dash power. Your first option is same, less, and more. Your right answer is less. Your question is in a high pressure compressor, the delivery pressure is. Your first option is 1 to 5 bar, 5 to 8 bar, 8 to 10 bar, and 10 to 15 bar. Your right answer is 8 to 10 bar. Your question is separator are generally used in air compressor installation. Your first option is before the intercooler, after the intercooler, between aftercooler and receiver, before first stage suction. Your right answer is between aftercooler and receiver. Your question is for minimum work in multi-stage compressions, the work done on all stages should be equal. Your first option is yes and second option is no. Your right answer is yes. Question is the minimum work required for a three-stage reciprocating air compressor is dash. The work required for each stage is. Your first option is equal to double, 6 times and 3 times. Your right answer is 3 times. Your question is the free air delivery is the volume of that can be delivered by a compressor freely. Your first option is true and second option is false. Your right answer is false. Your question is the minimum work is shaped in two stages reciprocating air compressor with incomplete intercooling. Your first option is agree and second option is disagree. Your right answer is disagree. Your question is the free air delivery is the volume of that can be delivered by a compressor freely. Your first option is true and second option is false. Your right answer is false. Your question is intercooling in compression result in saving of power in compressing given volume of air to a given pressure is. Your first option is correct and second option is incorrect. Your right answer is correct. Your question is with the decrease in compression ratio the volumetric efficiency will be. Your first option is increase, second option is decrease and third option is does not change. Your right answer is increase. Thanks for watching this video.